Everyone, it's Pickleball with Tyler with Universal Rackets, and in this video we're going to be going over instantly how to make your forehand and your backhand drives more consistent. Once again, we are going to get straight to the point, and we're going to give you tons of tips and tricks for you to get a more consistent and confident shot. Now, the number one reason why players miss their forehand and backhand drives is because they're trying to see where their next ball is. They hit and they pick their head up because they want to see if their ball's in or out or deep or short. The moment my head goes up, the moment my momentum's not forward, it's upward, and it is the moment that I miss my shot. So what you need to do is you need to keep your head down throughout your shot. The moment you pick your head up is the moment you lose control. Next, you want to make sure you keep your body down and you stay balanced. You want to pretend that there's a glass of water on top of your head. After you hit, you want to balance that glass of water. After you swing for your backhand, you want to balance that glass of water. If you're hitting and the glass of water falls over to the left or the right, that means that you're falling out of your shot. The best way to ensure that you don't fall out of your shot is to drop your center of gravity. If you're playing with a super narrow stance, it's going to be really easily to get off balance. If I can get into my legs and have more of a wider stance when I hit my forehand or I hit my backhand, I'm going to be able to have more balance. The next thing, you need to make sure you finish your plate before you get off the table or you go away from the table. It's exactly like your pickleball shots. Even if your momentum's going forward, you need to make sure you finish and you need to make sure you fully follow through. Many players go wrong because they hit, they kind of stop because they're thinking about going to the next ball, and then they're in the next ball. You want to hit, finish your shot even if you're moving forward, and finish before you go to the next shot. I know in pickleball it's short, the court's short, time is a currency, but you have a little bit more time than you think. The best way to do this is pretend that you're playing on center court and there's a paparazzi over here. You want to swing for your forehand or for your backhand, paparazzi's over here, then smile for the cameras and then go to the next shot. Again, you want to hit, finish, smile, and then go to the next shot. Too many players, they're not smiling or a glass of water is falling off and they're hitting and they're moving to the side. Drop your center of gravity, keep your head down, smile at the cameras, and that's going to play a profound effect on your forehand and backhand drive consistency. The next thing that you want to do is you want to keep your head down for a split second longer, and you don't want to just hit through one ball, you want to hit through 2 and 3. Again, this kind of gets into your body popping up. If you can keep your head down for contact and you can swing more forward and keep your body grounded, it's going to play a huge effect on your drives. Your drives are going to be more consistent. So I want you to think that you're going to finish, smile, and then go. You're not going to hit and pick your head up. You want to keep your head down until you follow through. Notice I'm going to touch my shoulders, follow through with my paddle, and then I'm going to pick my head up. What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to swing and pick my head up. Remember, smile for the cameras or keep a glass above your head. The next thing that you want to do, again, like I said before, you want to hit through 3 balls. A lot of players, what they do is they hit and they pop up. If I can hit through 1, 2, 3 balls, that's going to keep my body more down and forward. Think, the more compact, the more concise I can be, the less things can go wrong. Once again, if you can be more compact, more concise, keep your body down, swing more forward instead of up, pop your body up, you're going to be more consistent when you hit. The next thing that I'm going to give everyone is it's way more effective to hit a drive that's in 90% of the time, that's 60% power, rather than a drive that's in 20% of the time, that's 100% power. The best way to get a more consistent, effective drive is to slow your drive down. Every single time you hit, you're hitting your third, your backhand or your forehand, I want you to hit around 60 or 70% power. Stop trying to go to kill the next shot. Remember, for your drives, for your returns, when you hit them, the goal of the return is to get the ball deep. The goal of the drive is to get a short reply. If you can slow the shot down, but still accelerate, and that's going to be our next tip, that's going to allow gravity to work, and it's going to make the ball go at your opponent's feet. You want to make sure when you hit your drives, you're making your opponent make contact below or at the net rather than above the net. If you can make them make contact below or at the net, they're going to be forced to hit forward or up, which is going to give you an offensive opportunity rather than forcing them to hit up here where they're going to hit down. So if you can slow it down a tiny bit, it's going to help you a ton and you're going to be more consistent. Now, in order to slow down, and this is a key that separates many recreational players from advanced players, is how do you slow down the shot? It's not your swing, it's what you're doing with the ball. And this is kind of counterintuitive. We went over hitting through 3 balls. However, if you feel confident with that, and once again, not one size fits all, different tips work for different people, you're going to think about this thing that we are going to get into right now. When we're swinging, you want to hit through 3 balls, but what I want you to think is when you're swinging, if you already feel consistent, but you want to get more shape on your forehand or backhand shots, the more you can make the ball dip, the less you are going to get of the ball. Notice, if I'm driving the ball forward and it's not going to go at my opponent's feet, I'm swinging through the ball. If you want to get more shape on your pickleball shot, if you want to get more topspin, if you want to have the ball dip at your opponent's feet, if you want to be hitting around 60 or 70% rather than 100% power, instead of going all forward, you're going to come up on the ball. Notice I'm getting more power or more spin, sorry, not power, spin. I'm getting more spin because I'm getting less of it. The more forward and more of the ball that you get, the more it's going to go forward. If you want to hit less power but still be consistent, you're going to keep the same swing path, except instead of going here, you're going to go here. Notice, here's a big thing where players go wrong when they get this tip. What they're going to do is they're going to hit and they're going to try to pop their body up and get less of the ball. Notice I'm keeping my head down, I'm smiling for the cameras, I'm still swinging forward, but notice I'm just going with my hands. So my body's down, my body's controlled, my body is consistent, except now when I swing, I'm just going here rather than here. The more forward I swing, the more through the court I'm going to get. The more upward I swing, the less of the ball, the less power I'm going to get, but the more spin and shape that I'm going to get. But this is the key thing again, and I'm going to demonstrate on the forehand side. This is the motion, not this. Too many players get their body involved in it. I want you to think again, you have a glass of water. Another analogy, because again, different tips work for different people and not one size fits all, is pretend that you have a roof over your head or a ceiling over your head. The ceiling is this high. Why is the ceiling this high? Because we're dropping our legs and we're getting in our center of gravity. Now we're able to be more controlled, but you want to keep your head below the ceiling. If I go like this and I pop my head up, what? I'm gonna hit the ceiling, I can't go there. I have to stay below the ceiling at all times, and how do I do that? I keep my body down and I go with my hands. The next thing that you can think about is it's feet then hands, it's not hands then feet. Many players are not consistent on their drives and returns because what they're doing is they're swinging and then they're stepping forward. Always what you need to do is plant your foot down unless you're hitting an open stance, and then make sure it's feet, then hands, not hands and then feet. If you want to get even more detailed and in depth to it and you want to take it to another level, all you're going to think, if it's paddle first and then it's hands. It's feet, paddle leads, then wrists, then elbows, then shoulders. Again, feet, paddle, wrists, elbows, and shoulders. Where too many players go wrong is that their arms are first and then their paddle. You need to go first with your paddle and then everything follows after you plant your feet down. The next thing that you need to do is you need to make sure that you stay turned. Many players, they aren't turned, so if you aren't turned, you aren't able to rotate through your shot, and if you're not able to rotate through your shot, you're not going to be able to hit a good ball. You need to make sure that you keep your body rotated and sideways throughout your forehand and your backhand. We have a whole video on the open stance, and when I do my open stance, I tell them a lot of players do this because they're lazy. Notice when I hit my open stance, I'm still turning my body. For the forehand and the backhand, if I'm doing an open stance or if I'm doing a closed stance, I'm turning my body. You need to keep your body turned because rotation and acceleration equals power, consistency, and control. And remember, we're focusing on consistency. And if you can get more consistency, you can get more power and control as well. If you can rotate your body and think that the swing comes from here coiling and uncoiling rather than arming the shot. And probably if you're arming the shots because you're not rotating, because if you rotate your body, now you're able to coil and uncoil. Think that you're a sponge. You're twisting yourself and then you're letting go. You're twisting yourself and then you're letting go. I'm twisting myself and then I'm letting go. I'm twisting myself and then I'm letting go. I'm a sponge when I hit. Another way that you can think of it is think that you have the logo. I have the Carbon logo right here. Click the link in the description and get amazing discount on all the Carbon pickleball gear. In my opinion, it is the sexiest and best brand of pickleball. So when you do it, you want to hide this logo. Also, players, they have a Nike shirt, right? Look, when I turn, to ensure that I'm turned, you can't see this logo right now. If I'm open and I'm hitting, look, I'm using all arm, you can see the logo. So if I can turn my body and hide the logo, it's going to ensure that my body's rotated properly and I'm able to hit with my shot. Exact same thing with the backhand, but pretend the logo's over here. I'm hiding my logo. If I'm here and I'm swinging, I'm using all my arms and you can see my logo. Another thing that you can do is you can show the front of your back shoulder. If different tips work for different people, you can also think your hips, but look, I'm going to show the front of my back shoulder. I'm here or I am here. And that's going to ensure that I'm turned. A lot of players go wrong with their forehand, prefer to their backhand because they open up, because you can arm the ball because it's on your dominant side. If you want to fix that, all you have to do is instead of taking your paddle back with your dominant hand, you have to push it back with your non-dominant hand. This is more arm, this is fully rotation. I'm pushing the paddle back with this hand. Notice if I take my paddle back with this hand and give it to the person behind me, that's automatically going to coil my body. Now, since our body is rotated and we're getting into our legs and we're using all of our tips and tricks, now it's time to let the paddle work for us and not work for the paddle. If you want to get to the next level, if you want to be more consistent on our forehand and our backhand on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being a death grip, 1 being basically dropping your paddle, you want to be around a 1.5 or 2. The looser you can be and the more you can make the paddle work for you, especially now because we're keeping our body down, we're rotated, we're keeping our head down, we're staying under the ceiling, you're going to be able to hit a bigger ball. In pickleball, to gain control, you have to give up control. I will say that one more time. In pickleball, to gain control, you have to give up control. The more you let the paddle work for you and the less you work for the paddle, the better you're going to be. What I want you to do is I want you to go out on court, hit 10, 20, 30 balls, make sure it's a practice match or you're just hitting by yourself, and hold the paddle as loose as possible. It's going to feel weird, it's going to feel like you're giving up control, but what's going to happen is it's going to win over your muscle memory. And I mean that. What's going to happen, I don't care if you have the biggest death grip whatsoever. And probably you're struggling with maybe tennis elbow or shoulder. If you hold the paddle looser, not only you're going to be able to hit a bigger ball, but it's going to be way more friendly on your body. But what's going to happen is you're going to be able to hit twice as big of a ball without doing half the amount of work. And it's going to teach your muscle memory, and you're going to see that ball that just goes by you. Actually, you're keeping your head down till you follow through, so you're not going to see it. But you're going to feel that ball, you're going to actually see that ball. You're going to be, oh my gosh, I just killed that ball. That ball had so much spin, so much shape. It was so easy. I really had to do nothing. And once you do that 1, 2, 3 times, it's like you're never going to look back again. You're never going to struggle trying to kill your drives with your arm and your shoulder having a death grip. Once you understand that you can rip a drive by holding your paddle loose and just letting your paddle do the work. We all pay so much for these paddles, and again, if you want to pay less for the best paddle on the market, click that link in the description, carbon.com, use code UNIVERSAL, get a discount. But we all spend so much money, let this paddle work. Don't be working for the paddle. Why buy even your super new paddle? It's going to win your muscle memory over. Again, first, it's not going to be good. It's going to be very sloppy. But what's going to happen is you're going to understand. If you hold your paddle super tight for your forehand and backhand, what's going to happen is you're going to have, and I'm going to bring this in again, the ceiling analogy. You're going to hit a ceiling. You're not going to be able to get to the next level. You're only going to be able to get to your drive around here. If you can loosen up, now you are all the way up there. you're going to be able to win your muscle memory over, and again, it's going to help you. If you struggle with doing a death grip for the backhand, win yourself over on the forehand and then go to the backhand. However, 2 drills you can do. Number 1, you squeeze the grip with your index finger and your thumb. By doing that and just swinging with those 2 fingers, it's going to allow your paddle to be loose. It's going to give you that feeling and that muscle memory. Another thing that you can do is you can squeeze your dominant wrist with your non-dominant hand. By squeezing your dominant wrist with your non-dominant hand, it's going to focus the grip on here, not on here, and it's going to be good. Now, why is this? Understand, if I hold the paddle tight, the ball's here. Look, I'm going to come on top of the ball. The only way that I can really hit the ball in is A, the ball's above the net so I can swing down on it, or B, I slow the ball down and let gravity do the work. However, look, if I hold it tight, here we are. Scale 1, 10, this is 10, death grip. I'm destroying my shoulder. I'm hitting my ceiling's here. However, if I hold the paddle loose and I loosen up, look, what does the paddle do? The paddle automatically drops. Another way that you can think about this, and by holding it loose, you're going to get into the drop position, is pretend the tip of the paddle is weighted. As soon as I release, the paddle's going to go down. Now, by releasing and being loose and having my paddle down prior to contact, now I'm able to brush the ball, swing low to high, come up on the ball, and have the proper swing path. Once again, if you want to get to that next level, you need to hold the paddle loose, and the reason why you're holding the paddle loose is because you're going to get into this position. This is a beginner forehand. Paddle back, follow through. Paddle back, follow through. And a lot of people teach that, and that's all they teach. It's okay to learn at the start, but if you want to get your game to the next level, paddle back, drop, follow through. Instead, paddle back, follow through. That's 1, 2 motions. It's 1, 2, 3. I want you to think of the letter C. Top of the C, drop is the curve of the C, and then I'm swinging forward. Forehand, top of the C, drop the C, and swing forward. The more you can make the C or more of the loop, the better it's going to be. Clearly, as you get advanced, you want to make your C a little bit shorter so you could disguise your drive or the drop. So again, you want to go from here for beginner to more of a curve and a loop for an intermediate player. And then when you get more advanced, you want to make your loop even smaller so you can either drive or you can drop. You can make it kind of look similar so your opponent's going to be on your toes. That is key when you do it. Now, the reason why we went over paddle loose at the end of the video rather than the beginning of the video is everyone says, oh, well, guess what? I'm a certified whatever, and we need to go, you need to hold your paddle loose. But you're having the person hold their paddle loose and they're not here. They're keeping their head, popping their head up. They're not looking at the ball. They're not watching the ball hit their center of the paddle, which is another thing that you can do. They're popping up, they're falling over, and the ball's just going everywhere. You're never going to grasp onto it. You have to crawl before you walk, and you have to walk before you jog, and you have to jog before you run, and you have to run before you sprint. This right here, holding the paddle loose, letting your paddle be your paintbrush, is a result of you doing everything else right. If you're not rotated, if you're not getting into your legs, if you're falling out of your shots, you're going to have to compensate. And how are you? You're going to grip the paddle tight, and what's going to happen? You're going to hit a certain ceiling. There's a reason why when you see the pros, when you go out and watch all the pickleball events, when they hit their drives and their returns, they make it look effortless. And the reason why is because they're letting their paddle work for them. Now, once we overcome that and we feel like that, again, think of your paddle like a paintbrush. Pickleball is yoga. It's painting. It's not weightlifting. It's not boxing. It's not rah, right? It's super loose. You let your paddle do the talking, letting the paddle work for you. Now, once we can do that, it's going to make you such a better pickleball player. If you can incorporate 1, 2, or even 3 of these things into your pickleball game, you're going to have more consistent forehand, backhand drives and returns, and you are going to play better pickleball. Now, this video, I just want to fire tons of tips and tons of tricks. A lot of people say I go too in-depth with all of it. I absolutely love filming these videos. Number one, I get into it. I used to coach all day, every day, from dawn till dusk, every single hour, no lunch break. If I took a lunch break, I would kind of get lazy, so I'd go straight through. And allowing these videos, doing these videos and these content, I'm making you the person that I used to talk to, or you're my client, and I'm starting to enjoy it. That's number one. Number two, I try to go in depth as possible, but I want to see how this video does. If you like, let me know in the comments. I hope one of these tips work for you. And yeah, if the best way to support this channel is to share with the people that are watching. Once again, the best way to support this channel is to share with your pickleball group chat. Everyone has a pickleball group chat. You're probably in way too many group chats, but make sure to share, and I will see you guys next time on court. Use these tips, use these tricks, pick which ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're gonna play better pickleball. Have a good one, happy hitting. See you guys next time on court. And remember, share it to your group chat and stay dry. So yeah, do not play pickleball in the rain, okay? That's why I wasn't hitting, because you don't wanna play pickleball in the rain.